TrueNAS Tech Talk just dropped a new episode catching us up on everything that happened over the last few weeks, and there is a lot to unpack, even if you're new to TrueNAS or self-hosting in general. We've got a big stable release, an emergency security patch you really need to apply this weekend, a fresh hardware launch, and the next major version of TrueNAS taking shape. I want to walk you through each piece and explain what it actually means for your home lab. I'm your host, Evan. Let's look at the news. Version 25.10.3 is now mission critical. That's the label TrueNAS uses when a release has been tested in the wild long enough that they're comfortable recommending it for serious production use, including their high availability enterprise systems. If you've been holding off on upgrading because you wanted to wait for that label, you're good to move now. Let's walk through some of the fixes in plain English. Encrypted snapshots are now safer. TrueNAS has a feature called block cloning, which lets you copy data instantly without duplicating it on disk, kind of like making a shortcut. There was a bug where if you clone the data between two encrypted areas with different encryption keys, the clone could end up unreadable. Now TrueNAS checks the keys are compatible first, and if they're not, it falls back to a regular copy. You might lose the speed boost on the specific copies, but the data stays accessible. The USB boot drive bug is finally gone. Many TrueNAS builders use a USB stick as the boot drive. The problem was that some cheap USB drives and virtual disks inside VMs share the same fake serial number across multiple devices. TrueNAS was incorrectly seeing those duplicates and refusing to let you create new pools. That false alarm is fixed. Quick reminder though, don't use the cheap $3 USB stick from the swag bag as your boot drive. They wear out fast and you don't want your TrueNAS box dying because the boot media gave up. A small SATA SSD or NVMe drive is way better than a USB stick. Network file sharing got smarter. When you share files over NFS, and use ZFS snapshots, there was a bug where after a failover or after a snapshot expired, your client computer would hold on to a stale reference and you'd have to reboot the client to fix it. That's gone now, so your Macs and Linux clients should recover gracefully on their own. A couple smaller fixes. Active Directory authentication works better in certain configurations. Removing a log VDEV no longer fails partway through. And the Docs team published new guides on monitoring drive health and scheduling tests, which I'd encourage you to bookmark even if you're not running enterprise gear. Right after the mission critical fix landed, an emergency hotfix dropped, which is 25.10.3.1. And the reason for the rush is a security vulnerability called Copy.Fail. The good news is the actual attack doesn't directly affect TrueNAS because of how ZFS works, but TrueNAS pulled in the fix from upstream Linux anyway just to be safe. The Chris has covered the fact that we're going to see a lot more hot patching this year because of the security landscape and the way it's changing. AI tools are now good enough and cheap enough that researchers and bad actors alike are scanning for code vulnerabilities much faster than they used to, and this means more vulnerabilities being found and a shorter window between when one gets discovered and someone figures out how to exploit it. This means when you see TrueNAS hot patches come out, go ahead and check on them and see if they are in fact for security vulnerabilities, and if they are, patch immediately. Make sure all your other things are patched, like your router, your Wi-Fi access points, any other home lab or servers you're running, and your smart devices. Make sure your containers are patched. They're not the same as the TrueNAS operating system, so if you're running LXC containers or virtual machines, those have to be updated independently. News on the 26th beta front. The next major version is already out, and beta 2 is expected in roughly 30 to 45 days, and the team has started locking down code for testing. The plan is to release 26.0 as a stable, production-ready version this fall, not as an early adopter release. The big change in TrueNAS 26 beta is, of course, that LXC containers are a fully supported feature. We're going to have some videos coming up in the next couple of weeks where I show you how to create containers in the new TrueNAS 26 beta. This way, if you guys want to start playing with the container features, you can. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel so you're informed when those videos drop. SMB file sharing for Mac users got better. TrueSearch, which is TrueNAS's version of Mac's Spotlight Search, now works through SMB shares. So if you have a Mac connected to your TrueNAS, you can search inside file contents over the network, not just file names. That's a feature that Mac users have been wanting for years. OpenZFS 2.4 will be included with the next TrueNAS version. The change that's getting the most attention is that special VDEVs got a major update. The special VDEVs are an optional fast set of drives that holds metadata. Putting metadata on fast SSDs while keeping bulk data on slower spinning disks gives you a hybrid pool that feels much faster than spinning disks alone. The catch has always been that special VDEVs were restricted to mirror configurations only, which made them expensive and limited. But in OpenZFS 2.4, you can now build special VDEVs as a RAID Z. The write log can live on a special VDEV as well, and previously, if you wanted faster sync writes, that's the kind of writes that matter for things like databases and virtual machines, you needed a separate dedicated SSD called a slog. But now your special VDEV can do that as well. There's also more flexibility on what goes onto the VDEVs. The thresholds for what gets stored on the special VDEVs are now finer grained, and ZVols, which are virtual disks, can now write to them. A reminder that I'm going to repeat as many times as I say this: if you're running a special VDEV, make sure it is redundant. If your special VDEV dies, your entire pool goes with it. It needs to be either a mirror or a RAID Z. Don't have a single disk special VDEV. There's a couple other things in ZFS 2.4 that is worth talking about, and that is that they've sped up encryption if you are a person who uses encryption on your pools. The default quotas at the user group and project level are now available, so if you share your TrueNAS with family or roommates, you can set storage limits without configuring each user individually. We can now also set scrub time ranges. Now you can scrub data written in a specific time window instead of scrubbing the entire pool. We are going to get a kernel bump when TrueNAS 26 comes out, and that is the 6.18 kernel. This comes with better hardware support, and specifically the new Intel Arc B series graphics cards. That includes the B50 Pro, which is the card that a lot of homelabbers are using because it's the half-height card that doesn't require external power. It is also an LTS kernel, which means long-term support, and considering all the cybersecurity issues going on right now, long-term support for security patches is probably going to be really important. There was a question that was posted by a viewer that I'm going to highlight here. A viewer, Sean, asked why TrueNAS builds its own container management system instead of just including an existing tool like Dockage or Portainer. Since I run Dockage myself, I've also asked this question, and the short answer is that integration is harder than it looks. Dockage and Portainer are designed to run on generic Linux servers. They assume certain things like file system, permission models, and other ways of managing users that don't exactly match how TrueNAS does things. What TrueNAS has to do is basically soft fork a project, meaning maintain their own version of that tool while ripping out features and fighting upstream developers about the roadmap. So instead, they built the container management piece themselves so it works correctly with ZFS, with TrueNAS shares, with TrueNAS user permissions. And then they leave the door wide open for you to install Dockage or Portainer on your own, which of course is what I do. That's it for this week's episode of T3 TrueNAS Tech Talk. The Chris's are really busy, so I don't know when the next time they're going to do one of these is. So as some takeaways, just know that if you're running a 25.10 version of TrueNAS, make sure you update to the latest version to fix the CopyFail security issue. If you've been waiting for TrueNAS 25.10 to be completely stable before upgrading, this is now the stable phase. You are clear to upgrade if you are still on the older version. Keep an eye out for TrueNAS 26 in the next month or 45 days, as Beta 2 should be a pretty big step up from Beta 1. If you want the full technical details of all these things, I'm going to link the original TrueNAS Tech Talk episode in the video description below. If you found this helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Join us over at the Servers at Home Discord. There's a link in the video description below. Let me know in the comments which TrueNAS 26 feature you're most excited about. Also, you'll notice I did some different things with the visuals on this video. If you're just listening, you probably haven't seen them, but for those who are actually watching this on YouTube, let me know what you think of the new slide deck I used for this, if you want me to do more of this kind of stuff in the future. I recap the TrueNAS Tech Talk videos every time they come out, so if you haven't seen those before, go ahead and check out the playlist for it. I'll include a link in the video description below. Did you know I'm available for hire? If you would like a free quote, follow the Hire Me link in the video description below to book time with me one-on-one. Thanks for watching, everybody, and as always, stay curious.